I've talked before about how I have many issues with woke scolds and how they basically turned me, and I think do many people away who would be progressives, away from the left. How if it weren't for people like Vosh, Keffals, Hassan, Destiny, Hunter Avalon, Chew on Head, and so on, I probably wouldn't be wanting to associate with or be a part of the left at all. So, of course, with that in mind, these kinds of people on the left are very important to me. And when hit pieces are done about them, it's just odd. But recently, I feel like I have a little more stake into this, and I'm going to show you why in a minute here. Hey everyone, my name is Christian Verstappen, and I have a lot to say about many things. I want to talk about the dirtbag left, this hit piece that was done by the YouTuber, oh god, what's her name? Hoots. The dirtbag left. We're gonna get into all this in a minute, but first, like I said, I have a little bit more stake in this. There's this great YouTuber, I would say, or at least they have a channel. They don't have like actual videos they make, but they're called Voosh Spokesman. They always comment on my videos, things like they're my biggest commenter. So shout out to you, Voosh Spokesman. They comment on all my videos. They like leave likes on my videos and are very supportive. And had recently decided to come back to my my first video and say love from a Vosh and a Pillow fan. Glad to have you as part of the left. Keep up the great work, and I'll certainly keep watching my new favorite video essayist. So I responded, really love your support thus far. I don't even know if I'd call myself a video essayist, but I'll take it. Maybe I'll bridge the gap between them and debate bros. Of course, we know that won't happen because the woke scodes will always hate them as well as myself for the same reasons. Seriously though, I'm honored to be your new favorite and be welcomed into the left, as it were. And they say, you've been part of it for a while. Might as well go back here and congratulate you. So that really touched my heart, and I really do mean it. Like, thank you so very much, Voosh Spokesman. Like, I really do love your support, and I love that comment. That was really sweet of you, really kind of you. And it meant a lot to me. So, especially after seeing that, I felt that, well, now I have to talk about the dirtbag left, because if anything, that is the part of the left that I'm going to be a part of, right? I would imagine so. After all, this person is going after people like Vosh and Keffals and all these others that I quite enjoy. Do they have chapters? They don't have chapters. That's quite all right. Let's get into it here.
Think about every day as we try to guide and protect our girls through the challenges of this unusual life in the spotlight. How we urge them to ignore those who question their father's citizenship or faith. How we insist that the hateful language they hear from public figures on TV does not represent the true spirit of this country. How we explain that when someone is cruel or acts like a...
By the way, I wouldn't consider myself actually necessarily like a dirtbag. Well, I am just a teenage dirtbag, baby. But listen to Iron Maiden maybe with me. No, she doesn't know what she's missing. Anyway, I am very much that like anti-woke scold kind of person. I've talked at length about my issue with woke scolds and stuff, and we'll get into it, I'm sure here. So anyway.
You don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is when they go low, we go high. I don't consider myself, and I don't believe I've ever been considered to be a part of the dirtbag left, but I'm certainly a little dirtbag adjacent. I've been known to be a little grimy. I don't pretend to be one of the thoughtful, civil, coastal elite style leftists, or one of the Tumblr-educated, cozy core 2online leftists. I'm kind of mean, partial to shitposting, and have even indulged in the odd politically incorrect joke or two. Oh no, I sound like a British comedian about to do some weak stand-up. What I'm trying to say is I get the appeal of edgy humor.
Wait a minute. You can move the subtitles? Oh my god, I love it. I'm so glad to know you can actually move the subtitles now. Oh my god, that makes this so much better. Alright, carry on.
I get the appeal of cyberbullying public figures who've expressed views antithetical to my political aims. I literally have a podcast that's mostly dedicated to mocking people who are too dead to fight back. I had an account permabanned from Twitter for, allegedly, sending death threats to Matt Walsh and Tim Pool and Kaya Rychek. When they go low, I go to hell. But I think that there are some valid criticisms of crudeness and incivility as politic, and I think that largely that tactic is overplayed and has run its course. Hello, I'm Hoots. This is my channel, and today I want to talk about the politics of vulgarity.
Okay, so first of all, let's list every slur in English. Listen, I may slur in. It's kind of like
Holy shit, you are such a little tender queer.
I don't really want to do that. You people have like worms in your brain, honestly.
I mean, you're the one who can't answer. The dirtbag left is a term coined by Amber Lee Frost to describe a political style that eschews civility and embraces vulgarity, popularized by a conglomeration of mostly left-leaning New York City podcasters in the mid-2010s. That's a lot of words just to say Taco Trap House. Basically, in the mid-2010s, there was definitely frustration that was beginning to be felt amongst younger progressives with the way that a lot of establishment Democrats and conservatives reacted to then presidential candidate Donald J. Trump. There was this horror and disgust at his lack of decorum, his rudeness, his incivility, and that's all fine and good, but liberals were falling over themselves to congratulate Trump's conservative primary election rivals, whose ideological positions were virtually indistinguishable from Trump's. They just had better speechwriters and tailors, and arguably.
Well, one of the big things that people would say, basically, it was kind of the whole asshole thing. Like, well, he might be an asshole, but he's speaking the truth, and I respect that. There were a lot of people that feel that way. There's a lot of people that feel that way about General. By the way, this is also the same reason why people assume, especially, pushover men, assume that girls like bad boys so much, because it's that confidence and that I don't give a fuck attitude that people like. That I don't give a fuck attitude is really powerful and attractive, no matter who you are, what message you're trying to get across, or what you're trying to do. So that totally makes sense. That tracks.
That was their downfall, but I'm not really here to relitigate the 2016 election. It was kind of disgusting to see so many centrist libs championing the aesthetics of politeness and fairness over ideological substance. Sure, it's fucking embarrassing that now and forever I'll live in a country that had a reality star for a president, but the problem with Trump isn't that he's a rude boy. It's that he's a reactionary demagogue whose politics consist of fucking over everyone except his close circle of friends, like every other Republican, and the vast majority of Democrats. He just acted like less of a dweeb while doing it. His crude candor in third grade.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh my god. Okay. I feel like this woman is going to be very preachy, very woke scoldy, very like basically everything I have wrong with the left, and why I myself, and again many other people, are turned off from the concept of the left and progressives and stuff, because you get people like this. But we'll see where this goes.
Vocabulary made him a clown, but it also made him popular. I've never known a person that could be both intentionally and unintentionally funny with such consistency. People related to him, even if they didn't like him. And a lot of the left took notice. Vulgarity could be strategy. In an article for Current Affairs from 2016 titled The Necessity of Political Vulgarity, Amber Lee Frost defends vulgarity and japery as crucial rhetorical weapons that have long been used in the intellectual battles of our revolutionary history.
Vulgarity.
Well, it's not about vulgarity, it's about realness. People value authenticity in general. That's what it is.
Has always been employed in revolutionary rhetoric, perhaps most notably in the propaganda leading up to the French Revolution. The pamphleteers of France were all too happy to satirize and smear the upper class with the utmost malice. Clergy, royals, and anyone else in power were slandered and depicted visually in all manner of crass and farcical political cartoons. Of all the public figures subjected to such vicious derision and gossip, often highly inaccurate gossip at that, Marie Antoinette was singled out for especially inventive and vicious taunting. True to French tradition, the slanderous...
Yeah, I don't think that going after and using the French Revolution tactics is a good idea, but carry on.
Pamphlets called libelles were fond of wordplay.
By the way, I'm sorry, is this AI stock? This is AI, right? Yeah, this is like AI painting, but it's like a moving painting. It's like AI B-roll. What the hell is this shit? This is some dystopian fucking technocratic bullshit right here.
Austrian-born Antoinette, they coined Ostlichienne, meaning Austrian bitch, but also resembling the French word for ostrich. Thus, layering a visual pun upon a verbal one artist actually portrayed Antoinette stroking a massive ostrich-like penis, complete with legs and a saddle. There are arguments to be made over who constitutes a valid target, but when crude obscenity is directed at figures of power, their prestige can be tarnished, even in the eyes of the most reverent of subjects. Caricature is designed to exaggerate and therefore make more noticeable people's central defining qualities, and can thus be illuminating even at its most indelicate.
In her essay, Frost cites a political tradition of vulgarity that unites the French revolutionaries, Vietnam War protesters, the 1988 NWA track Fuck the Police, and the outrageous speeches of Donald J. Trump.
The depravity of the atrocious acts committed by the powerful far exceed the depravity of any swear words one could use to describe those acts. The death and brutality of Vietnam didn't just deserve an F-word or two, but warranted every last curse that could be spoken by the human tongue. And as the 18th century French knew, monarchy is the real barbarity. It was the libellistes who were the true allies of the Enlightenment.
There's something almost John Waters about this that really appeals to me. Embracing vulgarity and filth, holding it up as a foil to the real trash, the injustice of systems that cloak their corruption and dereliction and politeness and civility. Épater la bourgeoisie, as 19th century decadents would say. Shock the middle classes. But if you're like me, the Marie Antoinette example Frost focuses so heavily on in her essay may have raised a few questions. A Vietnam War protester wearing a jacket that says fuck the draft and Donald Trump calling for an outright Muslim ban instead of the obfuscating euphemisms preferred by other members of his party are improprieties that are still clear and direct political statements. Marie Antoinette stroking a massive penis shaped like an ostrich is less so. This is just misogyny, right? Someone realized that the words Austrian bitch sounded kind of like ostrich and also wanted to draw sexually explicit caricatures of Marie Antoinette. Satire requires clarity of purpose. I'm like, what are we trying to say here? That Marie Antoinette likes to ride big, thick cocks? Why are you making her sound so cool and relatable? She's just like me, for real, for real. Now, many people on the left, particularly those sympathetic to dirtbiggest tactics, will claim that appealing to the misogynists and perverts who just wanted to call Marie Antoinette a bitch and see her stroking some dicks pushed said perverts over to the anti-monarchist cause. Come for the woman-hating, stay for the politics, so to speak. And likely that was the case for some of the legalists and their readers. But some were definitely just there for the woman-hating, right? Now, you may be thinking that from a tactical perspective, it doesn't really matter what someone's motivations are as long as they throw their support behind the just cause. And that is where my opinions diverge from those of my fellow scumbag socialists.
Okay. We have to understand the reason for these type of tactics. Now, okay, personally, all right. I try to be, even with people that I disagree, like this person potentially here. I try to be more respectful because that's just the kind of person that I am. But the important thing is what people like about this is not holding back, not like couching your language and stuff like that, but just being your authentic, genuine self. There are times that I will call people a bitch or stupid or like whatever, you know. And by the way, there are people who have gone so far with this stuff to call stupid the S word. And I wish I was kidding when I say that, but holy shit. The most woke schoolty shit I've ever heard. But in any case, I think this might actually be one of those people. I'm not sure we'll get to it, but whatever. The the thing is, yes, things like the Marie Antoinette thing is misogyny, 100%. And I don't necessarily agree with even how Vosh tends to use what he calls tactical misogyny. And I think he's lessened up on it a little bit over the years. But I understand why it's there. And the thing is, you have to meet people where they're at. And even if people are originally going to grab onto a message, okay, let me try to phrase this a different way. Okay, so like the woman hating stuff, I agree. Yes, that's cringe, right? Any of that stuff is cringe. But being able to critique women, being able to critique minorities, being able to critique those things, those people, that I think is good and valuable. Because for so long, white people like myself were basically preached to by the left and progressives about how basically, you know, a lot of us were really made to kind of feel this like white guilt and this guilt for like being a man and like all these different things, you know. And there's a reason why conservatives were able to pull over so many people like myself. I wasn't pulled over by conservatives, but you get what I mean. People like me were pulled over by them so easily because of that kind of rhetoric. So when the left starts actually talking to those people and addresses like, yeah, you know what? It is possible. And there are people, there are black people who are racist. There are women who are misandrous. There are issues, like all these different things. What it does is it validates concerns and ideas and stuff like that. And then you take it further though, and you say, now this isn't like because they're black or because they're women or feminism ruined or any of that shit. Like there are people who do horrible things and they happen to be these minorities, which doesn't give them immunity from criticism. But at the same time, just like we don't want to go so far as to say that they are this because they are a minority either. And I think that for me personally, that's something that the dirtbag left is pretty good at doing that a lot of the left won't actually do for whatever reason.
I think it's fun to make fun of bad people, but I think when we're trying to wield mockery as a political weapon, it's at its sharpest and most deadly when we wield it in a way that centers our ideological goals. Otherwise, we run the risk of making our enemies look cool or funny, of giving them just cause to claim that they're being victimized. Or even worse, we run the risk of shocking the middle classes becoming our primary objective. Scandalizing and challenging the woke orthodoxy that dominates leftist spaces becomes the priority over any previously held political goals. And in the very worst cases, irony gives way to bleak nihilism, and the desire to push back against politeness and civility transforms progressives into reactionaries.
Hi, are you a fan of Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, I am.
What do you like about him?
But he's a socialist.
Why is socialism good?
Are you like, I don't really want to do this. What is this for?
We're asking why you like Bernie Sanders.
For InfoWars?
Yes, you're InfoWars.
I think he has a lot of integrity, like his value system, like what he stands for.
Exactly what values.
Eating the rich.
Eating the rich. Well, are you aware that Bernie Sanders lives in $3 million homes?
No, I was not aware of that.
Yeah. And are you aware? I'm gonna ask you something. So if you're
Okay, I do want to be clear. Okay, so this is another thing, right? The eat the rich phrase. Oh, she's already got it sped up. The eat the rich phrase is very cringe and annoying. So like, yes, like I don't really like that either, but we'll keep going here.
about eating the rich, why do you think so many of the 1% support socialism?
Is that true?
It's very true.
Like who?
Well, for example, you know Venezuela, right?
Heard of it.
The majority of the country is currently eating rats, while their politicians are impeaching people on a daily basis.
But that's not the 1%.
The 1% of Venezuela.
I'm talking about America.
Well, I'm saying, since if Bernie Sanders were president, right, and he wanted to bring the same ideas as for socialism into this country,
Yeah.
do you think that we would benefit?
Yeah.
But I just told you Venezuela's eating rats.
But I just want people to have healthcare, honey. I don't want like.
Well,
Oh my god. You people have like worms in your brain, honestly.
Okay, now whatever. We'll just let her continue.
I can't believe I'm talking about this on my YouTube channel. Okay, so for the blessedly unaware, that InfoWars video is from the South by Southwest Film Festival in March of 2018. The woman in the sailor outfit is Dasha Nekrasova, an indie actress who was promoting a film at South by Southwest. Bernie Sanders
Sure.
was slated to give a speech at the festival, so InfoWars sent reporter Ashton Whitty to find Bernie supporters to dunk on. It did not go well for Ashton Whitty, and the video went semi-viral, earning Dasha the nickname Sailor Socialism, and InfoWars ended up deleting the video. But Dasha uploaded it to her Twitter and Instagram accounts, and this is where it went seriously viral, scoring her interviews with Teen Vogue and Vice, and a featured segment on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Dasha uploaded the first episode of her podcast, Red Scare, with her co-host art critic Anna Kachin, 19 days after the original InfoWars video was uploaded, and Dasha tagged the podcast in replies to her re-uploads. So the podcast grew big and grew fast. The show has boasted celebrity listeners like Chloe Sevigny, Elizabeth Olsen, and Lena Dunham, and guests like Slavoj Žižek, Angela Nagel, Tulsi Gabbard, and John Waters. Red Scare was one of the seminal dirtbag left podcasts. It was initially unabashedly socialist, unabashedly class reductionist, and unabashedly anti-woke.
Interesting. They were against the woke scolds too. Okay, I can relate a little bit. I don't know much about Red Scare. I've heard people talk about them before, and same with Chapo Trap House. I don't really know. I've heard people like Vosh and these guys reference them before, but I don't really know who they are. I'm not really much of a podcast guy. I do like I like a few podcasts here and there, but primarily I just listen to stuff on YouTube and I treat it like a podcast, but it's not, actually a podcast. Whatever.
Anna and Dasha
But I will say it's cool to know that Elizabeth Olsen is possibly
still are
leftist.
highly critical
That's
of the
cool.
liberal white feminism that still dominates mainstream feminism, and of identity politics, which they view through a narrow Marxist lens as a bourgeois distraction from class consciousness and meaningful political change. They're also a pair of incredibly funny, overprivileged New York City mean girls.
The one on the right's kind of cute. Is that who Dasha is? It's kind of cute.
They're shitposters. Their vibe is best typified by a scandal over some of their old podcast merch. These are some shirts based on the ISIS flag, but if you zoom in, some of the calligraphy looks like the sexy women on the mud flaps of trucks, and the center text says Red Scare. It is provocative without actually saying anything, seemingly designed to trigger both the political right and the left, and something that you can only get away with if you're a skinny, upper middle class white lady, and I want one so bad! I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding.
She's not kidding.
And that was the initial appeal of Red Scare, as a safe space for urban, overeducated, middle-class white girls subsisting on precarious wages to explore a little transgressive comedy and express our frustrations about the center-right party that's meant to represent the left wing in this godforsaken country. Everything they say is cloaked in so many layers of irony that it's kind of difficult to parse what their actual opinions are, which is very funny for the first 10 minutes of your hour-long podcast, but the shtick quickly becomes fatiguing and sad. Because Anna and Dasha position themselves in opposition to the liberal mainstream, they've mostly committed themselves to commenting on the same culture war nonsense and celebrity gossip that pads out segments on Fox News. They have become the reactionary wing of the nominal left, and while they still signal support for liberal wedge issues like abortion, their politics have drifted more toward the new right. They've promoted vaccine misinformation instead of
Let's check this out here. Oh my god. FWIW? For...
They hosted
I don't know what that means. What?
support for liberal wedge issues like abortion. Their politics have drifted more toward the new right. They've promoted vaccine misinformation instead of
Okay, what the... Whatever, FWIW. I was diagnosed with something called adult onset Still's disease. If you Google Stills plus COVID-19, you can find studies. Okay, yeah, so they are vaccine misinformation. That's not cool. Dasha. Pope Francis has complained that traditionalist Catholics, particularly in the United States, are gagging the church's modernizing reforms and insisted that there was no turning back. Shouldn't even be controversial at this point to say this straight up layperson ain't the Pope. Why this man complaining? And I'm not gonna stop saying it, so don't bother telling me I'm creepy or no. I don't... Okay.
Catholicism. They hosted Alex Jones as a guest in November 2021 in a bid to rehabilitate his image after he was court-ordered to pay the families of Sandy Hook victims $1.5 billion in damages. They shitposted themselves full circle. They became so irony poisoned that they became that which they initially opposed. InfoWars. For her. In a review of Red Scare...
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's not great. And, yeah, I haven't heard the best things about Red Scare or Chapo Trap House, but, I understand the... See, this is why it's important to have this... Oh god, okay, this is why it's important to have, well, the nuance that I try to do so much. And like the understanding that you should be able to critique things with... You should be able to critique things done or said by like minorities or for inclusion or any of this stuff without getting lumped into the right. Or falling into falling down that yourself, you know what I mean? And you know, I would say that people like Vosh and Keffals and all these others are definitely doing it a lot better than people like Chapo Trap House and stuff, or even Hassan, who seems to be going in a more kind of tanky direction, which is really sad to see. But you know.
For podcastreview.org, Sylvie McNamara writes,
I'm all for vulgarity that reveals vulgar truth. We should mock and demean our political puppeteers and their dupes if it bolsters progressive politics. I think it's fine, at least sometimes, to oppose the ineffectual piousness of mainstream liberalism, not through measured critique, but by modeling a rhetorical alternative. But Red Scare's transgressions obscure more than they...
Okay, so I do want to be clear. we are aware that having this as like a whale tail tramp stamp, That's what it's called when you have a tattoo. When a woman has a tattoo on her lower backbone, that's typically referred to as a tramp stamp. This is meant to be provocative, right? Like, we understand that. This is the same as when this kind of thing is done for, like, album covers or anything like that. It's meant to be provocative, nothing wrong with that. I just want to point that out. Like, there's a point here. They might be more into being provocative rather than getting a point across, which would be an issue.
Reveal. Between petty violations of political correctness, the gayest, most R-worded thing ever is a metal concert with seats. Ironically, taking positions so aggressive as to be absurd. Maybe I should date an abusive man so I can get motivated to be thin. And misrepresenting basic facts, claiming that the Mueller investigation already cleared Trump of wrongdoing. The show collapses into meaningless offense, meant only to spit in the eye of anyone still foolish enough to care.
Recently,
Okay, so this is like South Park politics. And listen, I like South Park, but it is true that there was this whole thing, very much kind of creative, but also similar to like Rick and Morty type of stuff, of the idea that like nihilism is cool. Nihilism and to be clear, there are two different types of nihilism. There is passive nihilism, which is the idea that like, oh, nothing matters, what's the point, kind of thing, right? But then there's also, is it proactive or active nihilism? I think it's called active nihilism, where essentially it's like, nothing really matters, but that's okay, because that means I get to make it what I want it to be. And that's like an incredible freeing and powerful feeling and like way to live and stuff. Positive nihilism, if you will. But a lot of people will fall into passive and not regressive, but pessimistic nihilism, I would say. And that that sounds like what these people are doing here. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound like this Dasha chick was really a leftist per se. She was a leftist to the extent that people like Katy Perry are.
Anna and Dasha seem to have even abandoned their myopic brand of class consciousness for something more like political nihilism. They've descended so far down.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Political nihilism. There we go. Okay. So far, I'm kind of agreeing with Hoots here.
The shitposter rabbit hole that they've completely politically disengaged. To sincerely care about anything is cringe, so they embrace a kind of politics of spite and insincerity. To me, Red Scare represents an extreme case of a pretty common disease on the shitposting left, when the dirtbag typology is centered rather than the leftist. When the desire to shock and provoke and trigger is prioritized over, having good politics, there's a disturbing
I agree with this.
regressive trend among nominally progressive online personalities. I'm thinking of edgy leftists like Vosh, who somehow always find a way to use their platforms to harass marginalized people, like when he misunderstood black nationalism and sent his thousands of followers to harass a much smaller creator and colored.
No, this is not the same thing. Okay, no, Vosh should not misunderstand Cat Black. Vosh should not misunderstand her. She had a conversation with him and then doubled down after her debate on her own channel, the video, essentially saying, yeah, white people who are in Africa shouldn't be there because it's not their country, and they should leave by any means necessary. What the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, we would understand that's genocidal rhetoric for anything else, but because it's a black woman, two minorities, so many people are willing to be like, oh yeah, no, that's okay. You can say that. It's horrible.
White genocide enjoyer or whatever. Or when he used J.K. Rowling's trans misogyny as an excuse to promote just general misogyny, I guess.
No, the point of this tweet, all J.K. Rowling had to do was shut the fuck up, and she could have been almost uncritically beloved for like a century. Women be quieter and start apologizing challenge. Okay, first of all, there were two reasons for this. One, he's right about this part. Truly, all she had to do was shut up, and she could have just been beloved forever. She didn't have to go on this whole anti-trans crusade that she's on. And the part about women be quiet challenge, because it was like a meme at the time. In 2021, when he made that tweet, which I can't believe this hit piece was made at the end of 2023, and that tweet and so much of this stuff was throughout mid 2020, like mid and early 2021, and so on, and like okay, whatever. Anyway, and the whole point of that was to essentially say it's making fun of the meme, the blank challenge, blank person be quiet, blank whatever challenge, impossible. Like, it was a whole. Let me see if I can find the meme in general. Yeah, like this. May 21st of 2022. Deadpool cosplayers learn what boundaries are challenge. Impossible. It was a meme. It was just a meme throughout, like, 2022, 2020. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Meme users trying to be original challenge. Impossible. Like, it was just a meme. That was the point.
Women be quieter and start apologizing more. That is such a wild take, Ian. Have you met women? I apologized to my couch when I stubbed my toe on it. I'm thinking of Keffals, who apparently grew tired of ratioing transphobes and decided instead.
What is with that picture? Why did you if you look up Keffals, I hate when people do this for hit pieces, by the way. Oh, is that actually the first image? No fucking way. Really? That's disgusting. That's the image that that Kiwi Farms uses. Why not use like her old Twitter picture, or like this one or like I hate when people do these hit piece things and they go out of their way to choose the worst looking images of people. They do the same thing with, if we look up Vosh. Let me see here. You can find good pictures like this. This is actually the first one that comes up, which is nice. But so many times people will use this one. Like it's so intentional. It's so disgusting. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, I mean it's insane. It's just because they're trying to make them look bad. It's such a typical, like, it's, yeah. Anyway, just
to use her platform to harass feminist Asian writer Rosalind Toulousan for 2 entire years. Noodles are tasty as
what? Oh my god, the noodle discourse. No fucking shot. Oh my god. No. Okay. I'm not okay. I'm not arsed. I'm not gonna be arsed to look at the look up the tweets and show you this, but okay. So here's the order of events of how this should happen. And Hoots might go over this in a minute here too. Actually, here, let's just see if Hoots goes over it first.
become a rallying cry similar to ethics in video game journalism.
Nope. Okay. She's not gonna do it. Okay, cool. So here's what happened. A white woman made a cookbook on how to make Asian food, including noodles and dumplings. People got mad at that white woman on Twitter and basically said, it's pretty problematic that a white person made a cookbook for Asian food. Head-ass takes. Like, this is the kind of shit that, again, turns potential allies away. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. This idea that essentially saying you can't make Asian food, you can't make a culture's food if you are not that culture. Fucking ridiculous take. So Keffals started doing this whole, oh, I'm gonna make noodles from this book. Retweet if you think noodles are tasty. Real noodle patriots are in control now. We have banished the noodle Karen to the shadow realm and will restore our tasty democracy. And yeah, and she has this whole thing where, like, yeah, it's like a meme in its own. This is what I was anyway. And it's like a meme in its own right, where, you know, it's so fucking stupid, because the whole point is that people are mad that a white woman made a cookbook for Asian food. Get over it. Like, what are you doing? Why are you mad about this? Why just white people can't make Asian food, apparently that's a thing. It's absolutely insane. And this is the shit that fuels the right. This is why they think we're crazy, because there are people on the left, progressives, who do things like this. This is why I speak out against these kind of people so much as well. And this is why I love people like Keffals and Vosh and all these people who are not anti-woke, but anti-woke scold, you know, because fuck.
An alibi for a harassment campaign that has become a meme unto itself. This isn't activism. This is just a racist waste of time, which, to be fair, is a pretty accurate description of Claire's body of work. But this kind of boring reactionary trolling is not worthy of anyone's time or attention, and certainly not anyone who claims to be aligned with the left. If you're someone who consistently uses your platform to torment marginalized people, I don't really think you're— Wait a
minute. Keffals' body of work is one of just reactionary Before Keffals even got into streaming and shit, she was doing real on-the-ground politics. She was part of the Marxist-Leninist Party of Canada or something. Like, she's been involved in real politics, and I think still is. She was doxxed by Kiwi Farms and had a whole like thing and took down that awful site and all this stuff. What are you talking about? You think noodles are her like swan song? Are you fucking— what the fuck? What are you— No.
leftism, no matter how much you want universal healthcare and a livable minimum wage. But I've noticed that a lot of people who see themselves as politically incorrect leftists fall into this trap. Saying something outrageous or feuding with someone that your average anime avatar non thinks is cringe gets you a lot of attention. And we all love attention. But if you aren't careful, vulgarity can sour and become cruelty, and the political weapon of crudeness becomes a blunted cudgel wielded even against our allies. Now, anti-identitarian leftists will say that pandering to marginalized groups is weakening the left, that the woke scolds are off-putting to the white working class, who would be on board with our project were it not for all these uppity insert marginalized identity heroes. But like
No. It is not uppity marginalized people. It is normally uppity white savior people and white knights, the kind of people who will trip over themselves to give women not just the benefit of the doubt, but the kind of men who will trip over themselves to do this fucking like women are always right bullshit. Or the kind of people, kind of normally white people, who will trip over themselves to do this minorities are always white bullshit. It is not minorities who are the ones that are the woke scolds that make everyone else look terrible. It is the white people who want to like get offended on their behalf. It's absolutely fucking insane. How no, that is so fucking disingenuous.
like I'm the white working class. And sure, maybe now I live in a major city that skews more liberal and that has influenced my worldview, but I grew up in Florida, in a county
Same.
named after a Civil War general that votes overwhelmingly Republican every single election season. I've never set foot in a gender studies classroom. I mean, I've never set foot
Also same.
in a coal mine either, but I think that by most anti-identitarian metrics, I should be fairly representative of this imagined white working class. And yet, my politics have drifted further and further to the left over the years. But that isn't because of a bunch of streamers and podcasters stealthing class consciousness into my brain via a giant slur Trojan horse. It's because of people of color, disabled people, queer people I've interacted with throughout the years who have honestly and openly discussed their experiences. It's because I've come to the obvious conclusion that our political struggles are intertwined. And I don't think I'm the exception to the rule here. I think empathy is the default condition of humankind. That's why movies be so good.
I agree with that.
I'm not exceptionally intelligent or exceptionally easily persuaded. Okay, well, maybe I'm a little easily persuaded, but like, so are most people. That's why advertisements be so good. Also,
Okay, please don't with this. That's why blank be so good. Just, I don't know if that's like AAVE or what, but stop.
a massive percentage of the working class are women of color. So even if you are a class reductionist, alienating those demographics is just strategically not good. I think any political strategy that encourages you to abandon empathy for your allies is a misguided strategy at best and actively damaging your cause at worst. As Thought Slime points out in their video on a similar topic, the left doesn't really mean anything.
You'll hear the term used to describe everything.
Thought slime. Oh my god, we're gonna unironically positively quote Thought Slime now. Okay. I really love. I don't remember. I think it was either Keffals or Shoe on Head who explained that Thought Slime is basically Blue's Clues for the left. And as somebody who has a child loved Blue's Clues, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree.
From hardcore anarchist revolutionaries to neoliberal ghouls who at least don't actively seem to want to feed gay people into a wood chipper right now.
It's just an umbrella term that means anyone who isn't the right. And if we need to abandon some of our political ideals, some of our comrades, in order for the left to win, then the left is a failed project. I really do want to build a better world. I want that more than anything. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but things kind of suck right now for almost everyone. And I don't think most of it has to be this way. But I can't always be the change I want to see in the world because, well, first of all, I'm just one little hoot. But also because I have this real mean streak that I've come to recognize within myself. And I think that if I'm going to use my platform as any kind of a force for good, I'm going to need to address the dirtbag within.
Okay, wait a minute. Yes, you can be the change you want to see in the world. You should be the change you want to see in the world. What? What you're saying? Like you're an asshole? So okay, we'll get to that. But guys, I need you to understand. It's not about being an asshole. You don't have to be an asshole. People are just sick of inauthenticity. And people want people to be real, and people want others to meet them where they're at. That's why the right is generally so good at this, because they were so good at meeting especially disaffected young white men where they were at, where the left just constantly preached to them, oh, you're struggling with loneliness? Oh, you want to learn how to I don't know, how to get a girlfriend and not be lonely and make more money and all these different things? That's toxic masculinity. That's blah, 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 blah. It's like, and then the right over here comes and says, "Oh, you know, we'll show you how this stuff goes." Like, what do you expect to happen? Holy shit! Oh my god, it's so fucking wild. I've said this before and I'll say it again, but like, if it weren't honestly, the big thing that got me into Vosh's content specifically. Let me go ahead and find it here. Oh boy. Okay, yep, this is it. He did an entire like thing. There was a whole playlist he had before about like incels and dating advice and all this different stuff. And he ended it, or the end of the playlist at least, was excuse me, about, I'm still recovering from a cold here, but um he ended it by talking about toxic femininity. And when he did, and he talked about how basically, yeah, there's a lot of like toxic things women do too, and there's like, and it's shitty how women can basically just get away with shitty things that men could never get away with, and nobody should get away with because they're horrible no matter who does them, and all these different things. And he ended it by saying how feminism is the answer to this, and intersectional feminism, and all these different things. It was mind blowing to me at the time, and from that point forward, I started wanting to listen to more and more of his content, because here was somebody who was speaking to issues that I personally resonated with and giving realistic solutions without doing this whole like, it's this way because women are bad kind of thing. You know what I mean? Another person who did a really good job with this was, and I cannot recommend this video enough if you haven't already seen it, ContraPoint's Incels video. Fucking incredible. Everybody needs to watch this. Insanely good video. Yeah, an insanely good video. But if it weren't for things like that and people meeting me where I was at and only ever getting this kind of advice and albeit hollow empathy from the right, where do you expect people who don't fit the exact demographic you're talking about to go? What do you expect us to do? Is the left and this idea of progressivism and inclusivity supposed to actually be inclusive for everybody? Or are we only harping on people who aren't necessarily included elsewhere, and we want to say, this is actually a little hug box for everybody else that doesn't already fit and is considered normal, so to speak? Because one of the things that I've learned as well, and I've kind of understood this for a good while, but basically, if you want positive action, if you want things like minorities, sexual minorities, whatever it may be, to be normalized, you have to get the currently in power class on board. Like, that's how it's always been, especially in the United States of America. Why did slavery eventually end? Because enough people who were currently in power were able to, empathize with and want to, empathize with the slaves of the day and band together to get rid of it. Effective. I'm simplifying, but you get what I mean. And it's the same thing with literally everything else. Women's rights and suffrage, like literally everything. It's, you have to get the current class that's in power on board, or at least enough people who are of that currently in power class on board, and they will be allies and help you with your cause and help you become normalized. It's the same reason why like people cringe and talk about rainbow capitalism, but rainbow capitalism is actually really fucking good, because the fact that we have like Pride Disney and Pride parades and fucking rainbow Oreos and fucking like Pride T-shirts and all this shit. The reason, like, all of that stuff helps to normalize this stuff in the culture and normalize the existence of people like the LGBTQ community. This stuff is important, and I don't understand why anybody would chide away from that, from that, from the importance of that.
We were never meant to experience everyone's innermost thoughts at all hours of the day. And we especially weren't meant to experience everyone's thoughts being boosted and shaped by this bizarre attention economy that rewards the wildest, most contrarian takes. We're all on the same page here, right? Social media is ruining our brains. I don't know if it's creating more annoying people or just giving the annoying people more exposure, but either way, I hate it.
I think it's a little bit of both. Primarily giving annoying people more exposure. Okay, real quick on this. People talk about how anonymity and being online brings out the worst of people. I think it brings out the side of people that they have that they feel like they can't express publicly. I used to be a little bit more cynical about it and say that I believe it brings out people's true nature. I don't necessarily think that. I think it brings out the side of people that they are more likely to hide away that they would like to express. I think that's what it really brings out. Because I know for myself, again, I'm not an asshole. Like I'm just not. I'm so like I understand even her critiques of the dirtbag left, and I don't think I would ever technically be a part of it. I know I definitely hate woke scolds and will like go against a lot of things that they talk about and stuff, but I'm not in the business of calling somebody the R word or anything else like that, or being like ironically misogynistic or anything. I mean, will I call a dumb bitch being a dumb bitch if she's being a dumb bitch? Yeah, but I'll call a dude a dumb bitch. I'll call dudes who are dumb. I'll call them dicks. I'll call like anybody can be a bitch. Anybody can be a dick. Anybody like these aren't necessarily gendered languages, but or gendered words. But you know, I mean, apart from those things, like you know, I'm not. I don't know. It's just it. I don't know. It's kind of too like how I know Vosh and some other people have like used the N word and stuff, and Vosh was called it the tactical N word, shit like that. It's just never been in my vocabulary. I've just never. I don't know. Like, and I don't say this to sound like, oh, he's like such a good like. No, I don't. I just it just I don't know. I swear like a sailor. You hear it, but I don't know. That's just never been in me. I don't know what to say. But you know, anyway. But I don't think for people that it is, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it, per se. Whatever. Moving forward.
There are a lot of annoying people in the world, and a lot of them are on the left. I'll even allow you that most of them are on the left, because the progressive left, with all its high-minded ideas of fairness and equity, tends to be more welcoming of annoying people. When I really sit with myself and interrogate what I'm moved by, what I want, my feelings are very clear. I want to build a better world for everyone, even the people I find really fucking annoying. But I'm also an entertainer at heart, and I like being funny, and I especially like taking low
Okay, agreed. I'm the same on that. I'm an entertainer at heart. Continue.
hanging fruit, because entertainers are, at our very cores, incredibly fucking lazy. So I often find myself getting ready to quote tweet some marginalized person who's become the main character of Twitter for some outrageous take, you know, chuck my little chihuahua on that particular dog pile, and I end up having to stop myself because my instincts are antithetical to my goals. I want the world to be better for everyone.
You know, okay, I can relate to that. I have had things where I have started to make a comment and then I just delete it. I'm like, nah, I don't really need to say this. Not because it was necessarily bad, more or less because someone else said it in the comments before, and I'm like, I'm kind of just like reiterating what they said or like, you know, something like that. So, I don't know.
And sometimes I catch myself in the act of trying to make someone's world a tiny bit worse. Now, I don't give a shit about politicians and public figures who are actively working against the common good. We should be making their lives a tiny bit worse if it's in the service of a just cause. So if the mean girls of the left are bullying Kristen Sinema at brunch or tweeting at Ben Shapiro about his wife's bone dry pussy, then more power to them. But when the instinct is to turn the spotlight of your ire on random nobodies, I've developed a handy intervention strategy. Keep it in the group chat. KIITGC. Okay, well, the acronym could use some workshopping. Sometimes people are annoying, and sometimes you want to vent about how annoying they're being. Luckily, we have two different tools at our disposal for just such a situation. The first is friends. Now, some people may be running down to my comment section right now to be like, no, I don't have any friends, but I guarantee you, you do. I guarantee you, you have at least one friend, and if you don't, you probably have someone in your life that thinks they're your friend, and you should probably try reciprocating at least for a month. You know, just try it out.
I will say, for me personally, I don't have any friends who are like politically aligned with me. I just don't, you know. I used to. One of my, although she was a bit more, a little bit of a woke scold sometimes, but she was still really cool. And she was a really good friend of mine, but our friendship had a falling out, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But my core group of friends, they're not on board with me politically. They support what I do, but they're not really like, you know, I can't really vent to them about this, you know, this kind of stuff. But you know, that's on a personal level. So I'm just saying that, you know, you can't necessarily tell all your friends this kind of stuff. I can vent to my therapist about this stuff, but not necessarily everybody has that either. So, yeah.
The second tool is a group chat, which is when a group of friends decides they want a private little place to send each other messages, usually via text on a service like WhatsApp, or if you're old or hate yourself, Facebook Messenger. A wonderful thing about group chats
That's me. I use Facebook Messenger all the time.
is that they're private and usually filled with people who know you personally. So in a sense, they're kind of a safe space. So when someone tweets out something like, I'm an asexual slut who likes to f, and you think that's silly, instead of dunking on that person in a public forum, you can gently mock it in private. Maybe one of your
Wait, what? No, but okay, but she's right. ContraPoints was right about this. Like, what the fuck are you? Yes, she's right. Gen Z, some Gen Z queer people will say stuff like this, and it's stupid, and it fuels the right. but because the right loves to make us look like we're all fucking crazy people who are inconsistent and all those different things. And you know what they love more than anything else? People like that who are inconsistent and don't actually, like, okay, me personally, I hate double standards. Hate them. Hate them. No matter who they're for, no matter what they're about, I hate double standards. When we have these double standards and these inconsistencies and stuff, all it does is make the right and anybody else against us, so to speak, it gives them more ammunition against us. And it's insane. It's fucking crazy.
Sexual slut who likes to and you think that's silly. Instead of dunking on that person in a public forum, you can gently mock it in private. Maybe.
She didn't, but she was making a generalization. Okay, you know what?
One of your friends in the group chat will even push back on your stance based on their experience or the experiences of others and give you a new perspective on asexual sluts. I've certainly had my mind changed about things in group chats more than once. And I don't think that would have been possible had the same conversation been hashed out on a public platform with people I didn't know or trust.
Okay, but like the term asexual slut, do words just not mean anything anymore? The concept of being ace is where like you don't really care about. This is like when I tried explaining to my friends that I think I'm demi because I have to have a romantic, like an emotional connection. And a friend of mine challenged that, and he was like, well, then I don't think that's true, because why would you watch so much porn then? And I was like, and I thought about it, and eventually I realized, okay, I'm not actually demi. I'm not actually any like type of anything like that. I like sex. But the reason I thought I had to have that emotional connection was because I was taught I was supposed to have that emotional connection by my Christian religion that I was brought up in and everything. But that's not how I actually am. And like, I wouldn't be going around saying I'm demi or ace when I'm clearly, like, it just, words have meaning. And okay, this is why personally I also, okay, this might get into a whole nother thing, and like, I might even do different like videos on this topic in general, but just real quick, I want to touch on, I really, 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 really detest the idea, the circular argument and reasoning people will give about a woman is anybody who identifies as a woman, or a man is anybody who identifies as a man. The way I view it is basically there's like a teeter where like the more, we'll say there's like a blue and pink side where like the more pink you have in this side, the closer you are to women. The more blue you have on this side, the closer you are to men. And if it's balanced out enough, you're probably some form of non-binary. You know what I mean? But I think while it is true that you could be like in the closet or something, unless you are socially transitioning at the very least, you can't expect anybody to know and to refer to you as what you say you are if you aren't making any effort to present that way. I think it's more about presentation and appearance and stuff. And look, this is one of those things where I am willing to like look into this and have my mind changed on that kind of thing, but it's just something that I really detest, the like circular reasoning that people have with that kind of thing. It just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's just something that I don't understand and I need more like education and understanding on. I don't know, but currently that's where I sit, and I just wanted to like throw that out there real quick. But anyway, moving forward.
Chat has broadly agreed with me and has indulged in a little private contempt. I think we're all entitled to a few mean-spirited jokes in the privacy of our own homes, as long as those jokes aren't permitted to spill over into the public sphere, where they can hurt other people. Leftists don't need to repent for impurity of spirit. We aren't Calvinists or whatever. I assume that's what Calvinism is. I honestly don't know. I've never been inside a church. What's it like? I've heard there's free wine there. Church enjoyers, please leave a comment below. I keep coming back to this idea of centering the leftist over the dirtbag. In shitposter.
Yeah, this is so fucking smug and just okay, just
whose mockery devolves into hollow cruelty. I see something of myself reflected back, and I don't like it. I'm even trying to make an effort to be better about mocking people's appearances when I'm talking about genuinely bad people. You know, Gwen Shamblin won't hear you mocking her withered hand, but your friends who have never used hand lotion will. Whether I like
you don't even have to mock her hands.
When I'm talking about genuinely bad people. You know, Gwen Shamblin.
You can look at her, all of her. Look at her face. There's only technically three good things about her. Her hair is kind of nice, and her tits are kind of nice. She's got kind of a nice body. Actually, kind of reminds me of my ex-fiance, where, as my dad said, and this was very true, from the neck down, she was pretty attractive, but from the neck up, not so much.
Won't hear you mocking her withered hand.
Does that count as does that count as like mean-spirited, misogynistic jokes? If it does, okay, fine, then sure, I indulge a little, but whatever.
But your friends who have never used hand lotion will. Whether I like it or not, I am a person with a public platform, and I need to use it responsibly, or I might seriously hurt someone. I don't want to do that. I think the part of me that is mean and sardonic is probably never going to be fully excised, but she can be pruned and tamed. Like the red rose grasped within the fist. I don't need to prick the hand of solidarity.
What the okay.
Is there anything more exhausting than a leftist media critic in 2023? Part 4, why listening to Joe Rogan is like being an accomplice to murder. Whatever happened to just let people enjoy things? I think it's mostly fine to enjoy things, even things that are a little problematic. I made a whole video interrogating my feelings about that. I'm really proud of it. You should check it out. If you have a soft spot for Chapo Trap House, this essay was not intended to dissuade you from listening. They have excellent guests on, and they produce limited series on what I consider to be important topics. Hell, even if you listen to Red Scare, I'm never going to scold anyone for listening to some Mean Girls with Vocal Fry. That's my core demo. Actually, if you're a Red Scare fan, sound off in the comments. I'd be really interested to know what proportion of Nosballs are into Frozen 2. Amber Lee Frost has a memoir aptly titled Dirtbag coming out the same week this video comes out. Wonder what that's about. I still plan on reading it, but I stumbled upon an early review of it from a fan who was disappointed with the book's dated and parochial politics.
The book even reprints Frost's entire 2019 article denouncing Warren in favor of Bernie, a topic nobody needs relitigated. To the extent that the book is a history, it's fair for Frost to recount the main political opponents of the left during the Bernie campaign, though she might have included the alt-right too if this was really her intention. But we're living in 2023 and know the aftermath of the Bernie campaign beyond its defeat. Why not consider that? However, the book, save a few proleptic mentions of COVID, quite literally ends with Bernie's defeat in 2020. Frost has the good sense not to write an apologia for Bernie's failure, a left-wing equivalent of Clinton's "What happened?" But the book does conclude on a resigned note. Frost sees no immediate path forward for the socialist left, and recommends readers try to recover their energy, disconnect from the media, read novels, and keep vigilant and faithful. In another
Please, no, that is not. All right, just continue.
parlance, she could have recommended that readers practice self-care and go to brunch. The supreme irony of the book is that for as much as Frost loathes the progressive libs, she takes what were once the insults she and her ilk lobbed at them and offers them sincerely to her readers.
That's insane. That's like black. It's like black pill for leftists. Just lie down and rot. Just like take care of your mental health and hope everything like goes away. Like this is like the anti-electoralness people are doing. Anti-electoralism people are doing with things like, oh, don't vote for Biden because he's just as bad as Trump. And it's like, okay, sure, because Biden put people in office that were able to overturn Roe v. Wade, because that happened, right? Yeah, okay. What is it? Why are these people just so anti, like, I don't know, human? I don't know.
This bitter, cynical millennial shtick is getting old, and it's only in service of the status quo. I'd like to offer up some alternatives, so if you're looking for content that isn't made by disgruntled 40-year-olds who stand octogenarian career politicians, this section is for you. If you're looking for creators who have shitposter energy but have managed to not become totally irony poisoned, I'd recommend the YouTube channels Thought Slime, Mew and Cat, and my friends Ponderful and John the Duncan. For
Okay, Thought Slime is not...
podcasts, I managed to not become totally irony poisoned, I'd recommend the YouTube channels Thought Slime, Mew and Cat, and my friends Ponderful and John the
I don't know who John the Duncan... I don't know who any of the people are Thought Slime, but he's definitely not a shitpost adjacent creator. Oh my god, he what was the thing where he wouldn't even say the word, oh my god, nanners. He wanted to say nanners instead of crazy, and then he was like, I'm sorry for saying nanners. Like, oh my fucking god. Like, just direct them to, like, Ben Shapiro and all that. Just, instead of even bothering, just make your videos and just say, you know what, guys? I'm just totally cringe. Check out these guys instead. Just save yourself the time and energy. Just direct them specifically to the alt-right pipeline. Just usher them away. You know, like, oh my fucking god.
Duncan. For podcasts, I think I'd have to recommend my own shitpost of a podcast, Respect the Dead, as well as anything by Jamie Loftus. She's got a number of limited podcast series, which are all amazing, and she's just very funny. She's also been a guest on The Daily Zeitgeist several times, which I'd recommend if you're looking for a comedy podcast that covers current events. I haven't listened in several years, though, so don't cancel me if it sucks now.
Okay, I'm gonna reference the only podcast I actually watch. Well, listen to, whatever. Believe it or not, it is a channel...
Who doesn't love Santa?
I don't. No, I'm kidding. I do love Santa. Believe it or not is a podcast deconstructing fundamental Christianity, but really kind of religion in general, deconstructing cults. These two guys, Trevor Poland or Trevor... fuck. Trevor Pullman and Damien, I want to say Deppin or something? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Trevor Pullman and Damien Deppin. Which I believe, yeah, Trevor Pullman's on the left here, Damien Deppin's on the right. They basically discuss different things. They're definitely left-leaning. They're Canadian. and they are great at like deconstructing religion and cults and stuff like that. They're great. Love their content. But yeah, they're not cringe like whatever this shit is.
Time is another current events / leftists philosophy type podcast that my friend.
By the way, this is why I don't necessarily like, even in that comment, which again I really do love, a Voosh spokesman, that was really touching my heart. This is why I don't really consider myself like a video essayist or like a like part of like a leftist per se in this way. I'm a progressive person who is definitely more left leaning, and I care about humans and humankind and like politically, yes, I do think that the left is like the direction to go for all of that. But you know, at the end of the day, even like the video essayist thing, I definitely consider myself a just a somebody who provides commentary over social and political issues, and you know, a lot of that happens to definitely lean politically, but well, I did say social and political issues, so yeah. But I don't know. It's kind of like my friend who is into like self-improvement and helping men specifically and stuff, but is definitely staying away from the label of the manosphere because he recognizes how toxic a lot of that shit is and everything. I don't know. You know, yeah, I don't know. But I will say the people that are part of the dirtbag left, according to this chick here, Hoots, I definitely don't have an issue with at all. Clearly,
Neil Farrell just turned me on to. If you're looking for creators who are the antithesis of the dirtbag left, you're in luck, because sincerity is back in a big way, baby. Fuck the cynics. Let's get in touch with our momos. Babilla and Turb are a couple of YouTubers who are sweet and sincere and also very funny. And my friends over at the Leftist Cooks.
Wait a minute. You don't have to be anti-dirtbag to be sincere. I'm sincere. Again, I pride myself on authenticity and all that good shit. But like, and consistency and all of that. But like, what is this?
Are really bringing back emotionality in a big way. I don't really watch streamers. That's not the way I prefer to consume content. So there's like a big gap in my streamer knowledge. But if you're looking for left-leaning political...
But you don't need to. You can... All of these guys post stuff on YouTube. I don't watch their streams either. I watch their YouTube videos.
Event streamers, I have to recommend Kira Chats, Lumiru, and Lucid Fox.
Wait a minute. Kira Chats. Wait a minute. Hold up. I'm sorry. I have to... Is it this one? No. This Kira Chats? Oh my god. Oh, this was... Jesus Christ. $5 a month. Yeah, really helping the left here.
How did my whole speech about how I need subs?
Really all about the supporting the middle and lower class, right?
To get the stream going, if you like the content, blah blah blah. How that results in 0 subs. There are regulars here. $5 a month. How do you have hours of time to watch me and not $5? I don't know. What are you doing with your life where you have hours of time to watch Twitch and not $5 to provide for the content that you're watching? Because it's like people just really don't respect me as a content creator.
Well, this Parasite's right about one thing. Nobody respects her as a content creator. I'm not going to mention this streamer by name because I'm pretty sure...
Oh, I didn't realize this is a video by Moist Critical. He's a good content creator too, by the way, Penguin Zero. But yeah, oh my god, $5 a month, Jesus Christ. And she goes and like insults her audience and everything. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, she's a great anti-dirtbag person. Thanks, Hoots. Appreciate it.
Very good, kind people. This is
it's like DJ Mule energy.
We're near an exhaustive list, so please put your recommendations.
You guys remember when I did the entire playlist series of the kind of leftist conservatives think you are, and it was going through the entire hit piece that DJ Mule did on Xander Hall? Like, this is that kind of energy. This Hoots is dropping this DJ Mule kind of energy. Again, this is the kind of crazy, like, overly woke scoldy kind of leftist conservatives think all of us are. And it's just insane. It's just, these hit pieces are so, like, why can't if we're all fighting for the same kind of thing, why can't we just do that? Like, why can't we can critique each other, we can do stuff, but like, why the hit pieces? Why? Why can't we criticize people and their ideas without? I don't know. I don't know.
In the comments, also feel free to connect with people in the comment section. Connect with them on Discord forums and under Twitter threads. Make friends. Make allies. Make group chats. Find people to meet up with at marches and in socialist bookstores. Reject the impulse to simply consume content and retreat into your tailor-made niche of polittainment. Reject the impulse to let the algorithm serve you up a healthy serving of complacency. I think action begins with community, so find community. Build friendships. When cynicism and bitterness and nihilism are threatening to take over, these are the things that are going to keep you fighting. Not some dumb bitch on YouTube. To paraphrase some comments that I get in my comment section, stay mad, commies.
You know what? I do actually agree. I do agree with that message at the end there. Yeah, community is extremely important and everything. 100%. But oh my god, I don't even know what to say about that like video overall. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, I'll say that much. I definitely agree with some of her points, and while I'm not the biggest fan of, civility politics, I understand why they're necessary, and I do think that people, even like the content creators that I really like Vosh, Keffals, so on and so forth, I do think that they could, especially Vosh, could stand to be more, play into like respect a little bit more, which he's gotten a lot better, but at the same time, criticizing minorities and not kind of giving them this like immunity just because they're a minority or whatever, I think is very good and important. Like, we should be able to criticize and disagree with people, even that are on our side, or people that we like respect as people, and just go against their ideas and stuff like that. Again, I don't really have it in myself, I think, to be like super mean about shit just because it's not who I am. But the reason this stuff does so well is because what people are really craving is not just an excuse to be assholes. People are craving authenticity. Again, I try to be as authentic as I can. I even use my name for my channel for that reason, because like everything that I do is about me and my thoughts, my ideas, all that shit. Even if I'm wrong about stuff, I try to like explain that and everything for you guys. So like, yeah, but yeah, I don't know, it's tough. It's just people need to have others meet them where they're at, and there's a real problem with people like FD Signifier, Thought Slime, who's that person? Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, doing their whole like, why should we even bother talking about men kind of thing, or giving advice to men is toxic, masculine, like any of that shit. And it's like, no, you need to meet people where they're at. You need to, encourage people to, be allies effectively, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, just like, I don't know, like, if you really care about helping people and making the world a better place and getting people on your side and stuff, we can't be, dismissive about people just because they might be edgier or whatever the case. We have to be able to meet people where they're at and to encourage them to become better people and to become educated and all that good stuff. But like this smug like mentality that so many people have is just not it's not it's not healthy. It doesn't help anybody. It just it's not good. Again, if it weren't for people who are on the dirtbag left, as it were, I would never have become a progressive left-leaning person myself. So I'm very grateful for them, and I think that it's important for people like them and myself and many others to properly, critique woke scolds and people like that without like throwing all minorities under the bus, and to talk about things like men's issues and be able to critique, women and anything else without doing the like essentializing of, oh, everybody's this way because of feminism or because of, I don't know, woke media or critical race theory or whatever the case, like there needs to be room to discuss these kind of things, to have that nuance and discussion. And it's extremely important, and it just, I don't know, it upsets me when people focus so much on how the message is delivered rather than the message itself. And different people need different ways to, receive messages. Everybody needs to be met where they're at, needs to have their feelings and such validated, and nobody wants to feel like a bad person just because they think differently than somebody else. If they're wrong, they're incorrect, that's one thing, and that can be worked on and changed. But you're never going to get people who hate gay people to come around and actually be accepting of and supportive of and loving of gay people or any other LGBTQ people by just shouting at them and telling them they're a bigot. You have to meet them where they're at with anybody and help them essentially to change and become better people. It doesn't work with everybody. You're not going to save everybody. I have a hero complex myself, and I have to be aware of the fact that I'm not going to save everybody. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't at least try and do your best to help those who you can and not write everybody off just because they disagree with you. And if that's done in a more edgy way, as long as it gets the point across, in my opinion, that's really all that matters. But as always, these are my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Follow me on social media for more. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date. Leave a like if you like. And if not, I hope you find something to do like. Later, guys. Peace and love.